hit that subscribe button and also the bell icon so you can be notified of my any future videos. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope each one of you are doing amazing. So this is a long due video that I've been wanting to do, and honestly life has been so rough and had been rough, but I'm coping with it. So I'm just gonna put in a clip where I actually started recording when it all began. So where I could speak through, I could walk through, I could record. I did capture that moment, so here it goes. Hey guys, so contractions have started and I have been tracking them, and they have been quite regular, but I started with 30 seconds every 5 minutes. Now they're about 40 seconds every 5 minutes. So I am just preparing, my bags are ready, and I'm just gonna wait until my contractions are 60 seconds long to every 5 minutes, and then we'll rush to the hospital. Yeah. So I didn't know what I was expecting, so I'm kind of experiencing this cramp pain, like period cramps. I used to get cramps a lot during periods, so it is kind of bearable. I'm not struggling or anything like that. It's just that when the contractions come, you know, it's kind of difficult, a little hard to move around, but I can still move, I can still talk. So, and it's my first baby, so it's probably gonna take time is what I think. Anywho, so I'm just gonna get ready now. And yeah, the period cramps, so it feels like a period cramp, and along with back pain and tightening of your stomach. Like right now I'm actually using a app. Okay, it's like a wave that comes on you. It's a short one. Yeah, so it's like a wave that passes over you, and yeah, let's see. I will keep you guys posted when I head to the hospital. So I'm just gonna quickly clean up, and exciting. Okay, so this clip was me after coming back from the hospital. So basically, so at 10:30 I went to the hospital, got myself checked because I was having some contractions, and my friend who was with me throughout, a big shout out to her. I freaking love her. Janet, if you're watching this, I love you. Thank you so much for, I mean, I can't just thank you. I mean, you just can't be thanked for all the love and support you gave me throughout. So love you, girl. So yes, so my friend Janet, she told me that, you know what, let's just go to the hospital, let's just check your dilation. And since I've been having contractions from say 6 o'clock on the 17th of July, so by 10:30 Janet and her wonderful husband came and picked me up, and we went to the hospital, and the doctor checked me, and I was just 1 centimeters, and I was like, okay, so I might as well go home. So since I was 40 weeks past, so I was going through the CTG scans every 3 days. So on the 18th I was supposed to get a CTG scan, so I thought, you know what, the doctor said, since you're already here, since tomorrow is 18th, you might as well finish your CTG scan now, so you don't have to come tomorrow. I said sure. So we stayed in the hospital until maybe 12:30 because my CTG scan took around half an hour. So by 12:45 we left from there, 12:45 a.m. that's on the 18th morning. So by 1 they dropped me home, and I come home, and my mother was sleeping, so I told her nothing, everything is fine, and don't worry about it, go to sleep, and I'll wake you up in case, you know, my contractions, you know, progress, or if if it's time. So at 1 o'clock I tell her, I come to her room first, and I tell her that, and I actually go to my room and try and close my room. So my hand is on the, you know, like the door knob, and I had this huge contraction, so I couldn't leave the knob, and I was like holding on to it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what was that? I just came back from the hospital and I didn't experience this pain, so I'm like, I'm not going back type. So I think from 1 o'clock is when my actual contractions started, so I actually started tracking them. And at that point I didn't even want to call Janet, because Janet was wanting to, I mean, she was going to be there with me in the delivery room and all that. So I didn't even want to call her, because I mean, they just dropped me off and they went home and they have work the next day, and I didn't want to call her unless I am in the hospital, like in the labor room, and then like call them. So yeah, I didn't call my mother again. So I was basically laboring in the room from 1 a.m. until 3:30. So I'm going back and forth, I'm trying different things. I tried going back to sleep, it didn't work. And yeah, I was pretty much by myself. And yes, of course, one of my friend from I was actually on FaceTime with one of my friend. So she's a doctor, so she's actually a friend come sister soul type. So she was kind of with me through FaceTime, like helping me through. And yeah, and until 3:30 a.m. I was basically in my room by myself laboring, and yeah, just trying to do different things, swing myself, like every contraction. So when I was tracking it, it was about 45 seconds with 5 minutes apart. And I was actually afraid to go back to the hospital, simply because I didn't want to be in pain in the hospital. And I've seen a lot of birthing and labor videos, and they all say, labor as much as possible at home, and then because if you go to the hospital, it's going to restrict you, you're going to be in the hospital. And I mean, I don't know, but I just didn't want to go to the hospital, because I know that it was getting real. I'm going to see my baby girl, and the pain was intense. So yes, for 3.5 hours, I think 2.5, 2.5 hours, 2 hours, I was basically laboring in my room, going through whatever I have to go through. Was FaceTiming with my friend, and by 2:30, 2:45, she looks at me and she's like, what, your face is actually swelling up, and I think you're in a lot of pain, so you should go wake your mom up. And I was like, no Fabe, no, I just can't do it. I mean, her name is Faba, we call her Faba. I'm mentioning a lot of friends' names, so for those who know me and know my friend circle, you guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so she's a friend of mine. She is in the US, so it was a perfect time. So it was day for her, so she could be with me on FaceTime. So she's like, go wake your mom up. And I was like, no, I don't want to. Not yet types. By 3:30, I just couldn't take it anymore. She's like, if you're not going to call, I'm going to call. I think she said something like that. So I said, no, I'm going to go call my mom. So I slowly walk into her room, and I'm kind of telling her, Ma, it's time. And she's like, okay. And then she didn't know that I was really in pain, so I didn't want to freak her out either. I'm trying to keep as calm as possible. So then what happened is, yes, and then after I spoke to her, I kind of instantly fell, not fell like cringed on to her cupboard or bed or something like that. I think both of it. And I was like, stopped right there, and I was so quiet. And my mother saw me, and she's like, okay, I'm gonna wake up. And she asked me, can I do something? I said, I don't know, just do anything for the pain to reduce. So she's like, do you want to take a hot bath? I said, if that could help. So yeah, she took me into the bathroom, and we turned the shower on, and I was standing right under the shower, and it felt really good, hot water. And I was like, oh, this feels really good. And then I was like, what, I think I should just sit in the tub filled with warm water. She said, yeah, you could do that. So we did that for another half an hour. So I was basically like, and the pain reduced so much when I was in the bathtub filled with hot water. And for half an hour I was there, trying to go through the contractions one after the other. My mom was sitting inside with me, and then later I really thought of something that I think I should have thought of before. But anyway, later I was like, what, I'm in this hot water for a really long time, and the water was quite hot. So I was like, I've read somewhere where you should keep your body temperature in control. Since I was in this hot water, I didn't want to affect me or the baby with any kind of BP or pressure or whatever. So I told my mom, what, I think it's just good that I get off. So by then it was like 4 o'clock, maybe 4:15 a.m. And then I go to my room with a bathrobe, and I'm sitting on my rocking chair. I'm rocking myself because I was in so much pain. And then I tell my mom, what, I'm really hungry as well. So she went and she got me some cornflakes, and I ate it. and after 2 minutes I throw up. So constantly I'm messaging my friend Feba because she's a doctor. She's like, you know what, I think you should go to the hospital. I'm like, no, not yet types. And then I actually threw up my entire, you know, whatever I ate. And then after 15 to 20 minutes my whole body started shaking, like shivering, and I'm looking at my mom and I'm like, Ma, is it time? So I'm trying to, like, you know, she's waiting for my cue to run to the hospital, but yeah, I pretty much wanted to like be in the house, and my whole body like started shivering, and I stayed at home for another hour, I think, and at 5:30 is when I was feeling dizzy and I had thrown up and my entire body is shivering, and I said, you know what, I think I'm ready. I'm gonna go to the hospital, and I'm telling myself I better be like 5 centimeters dilated. But yeah, I'll get to that part. So I went to the hospital at 5:45. I called my dad and he was like on the go. He was ready to leave anytime. So we rushed to the hospital. We went to the hospital at 6 o'clock. We reached there and I couldn't walk anymore. Like I was done. I just couldn't walk. So they had to take me in a wheelchair. And from then we went to the ER. So the doctor checked me and she's like, oh, you're only 1.5 centimeters dilated. I was like, all that for just another 5 centimeters? I'm like, I can't. I told her I cannot go home. Please admit me right now. So she actually called my doctor, and my doctor was aware that I was 40 weeks and 4 days, and you know, and she's like, okay, admit her. So they instantly like took me to the labor room, and all I could see was flashes of light. Like it was literally like movie types. My mom went to, you know, like prepare my paperwork and everything. So I am just, you know, oh, my hair. So my mom went through like prepare all the paperwork, and all I'm trying to like open my eyes and close my eyes during contractions, and all I can see is like flashes of light, like literally movie types. Then they took me to the labor room and they admitted me. One is poking my hand, the other one is poking to get my blood test. I mean, I was like in, oh, this is it. And I'm telling the nurse, I'm like, I'm in so much pain, I'm shivering, you know, like give me some painkillers, and because I was gonna pass out. That's what I was feeling. I was so weak. I think I thought I was really strong, and you know, physically, I mean, I'm a strong person, but physically, so I was like, please give me some painkillers. So she's like, okay, don't worry, you know, first let's just hook you up with IV and all that. So I'm going through contractions, and then another doctor comes in who is on visit, and she's like, I'm going to check you now. I'm like, please don't, I'm in pain. I was going through a contraction, and at that time she wants to check, and she's like, no, it's the right time to check because we can check the exact dilation. I'm like, I'm already in pain. I'm like, wait, and then she didn't listen. Obviously she had to shove her hand in, and then my life popped out of my body and probably went back in. Honestly, I was like, why do you have to do this now? But anyway, I was like, I completely submitted myself with all the pain and trauma I was going through. I was like, I'm done, do whatever you have to do, take my baby out. And I think by 6:45 they had already done with all the hooking up of the IV and everything. And then I think by 7 o'clock they gave me a painkiller through IV. That didn't work. So by 7:45 I'm still going through pain, and then by 7:45 they gave me hydrogen thingy. Well, after that things got pretty funny because I was high, literally, and by 8:45 nothing worked, and by then Janet was already, you know, like in that. So I told mom to call Janet. So Janet came to the rescue to support me emotionally, and Janet walked in at 8 something or even before, I don't remember the time. I looked at Janet, I'm like, get me that epidural, like now. She looks at me, is like, are you sure? Because she was aware that I was praying for a supernatural childbirth, no pain childbirth, but obviously that wasn't going right. You see, God's will is above my will all the time. So I looked at her, I'm like, I want the epidural, get it to me right now. So before that the doctor came and checked, and she said I was 4 centimeters. I was like, hallelujah, 4 centimeters. So it was a perfect time to take the epidural, because once if you passed 5 centimeters they're not going to give you the epidural. Oh no, thank God it was the perfect time, and the way that she came in at the perfect time, and I told her I want the epidural, and yes, they set the epidural. By 9 o'clock they gave me the epidural. By 9:15 I was in bliss moment. Like I could not feel the pain. Like I could hear my thoughts, I could hear myself, I could like open my eyes, I could see things. I was like, what? I was actually like going on and raving to Janet about, why not epidural? Like, you feel so good, like you don't feel the pain, and you can push with a smile on your face. And I mean, honestly, like from 1 o'clock to almost 8:45, I've been laboring, and I'm 4 centimeters dilated. My body couldn't take it, I couldn't take it. Once I got the epidural, literally I saw heaven. I saw heaven. So from 9:45, my doctor came and she checked, and she's like, yeah, you're 6 centimeters dilated, 4 more to go, so by noon you should deliver the baby. I was like, yeah, let's do this with a smile. And before this, I had so many people messaging me. So before this, I had a whole playlist of songs, gospel songs, to get me through the labor. And I told myself I'm going to listen to this when I'm going into labor. Until 9:45, I didn't even think about the playlist, honestly, like speaking reality. And then when absolutely I had no pain after the epidural, I said, Janet, bring me my phone. And she's with me in the delivery room, and my mom obviously didn't want to be there because my mom is very sensitive to see me in pain, so she allowed Janet to be inside with me. And I'm thankful that I had Janet because it was so much fun with her inside. Anyway, so she gave me this phone, and I'm happily listening to my gospel playlist and basically Bethel music. And I was happy, I was smiling, I was actually looking forward from 9:45 until when Ava was born, until 1 o'clock. I was like in cloud 9, like literally I still could feel the pressure in my stomach, but I couldn't feel the pain. So I could still feel her like moving down, like a little bit of pressure, like as if, I don't know, I can't really explain, but you can feel like an intense pressure, not intense, but like a pressure down there. So yeah, and then she was crowning, she was coming out. So 1 o'clock is when the 12:45 the doctor comes in and says, okay, in half an hour you should have your baby girl. And we said yes. And at 12:50 I started pushing. 1:05 she was born. And I don't know how to express that particular time in my life. I was, you know what, I don't have words. And if you are a mother who's watching this, you know what I'm talking about. And I just cannot even explain the joy, the excitement, the everything. I mean, there is no emotion like that emotion when your baby is handed to you and you see them for the first time. Like, I don't want to get emotional, but she was perfect, she was beautiful, she was so tiny, and she was just perfect. So I was like, oh, this is done, this is over, and you know, I have my baby girl. So yeah, from then on, everything is been absolutely amazing. So yeah, I'm gonna leave the rest of the clip that after she's born. said everything that I have to say, and I hope I was not too fast. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and always know that yes, I know that I was praying for a supernatural childbirth, but I also prayed that I want to give birth peacefully, and I want to give birth with so much joy, because I was going through enough hardship as such, as to not being a single mom even before my baby was born, and being separated. And I was mostly actually praying for giving birth with so much peace and joy, and obviously that's what happened. And sometimes whatever we pray for and however we want it to turn out the way we want, it doesn't happen, because God's ways is always higher, and His thoughts and His everything is always higher than our thoughts. And our finite mind can only think of this, but His infinite mind can look at everything, and He knows ahead as to what's going to happen. So yeah, I don't regret taking the epidural. By God's grace, I rebuked any side effect that it could bring. I have no side effects, baby is fine, I'm fine. So praise God for epidural, honestly. I mean, that's my thought. And yes, I was hoping for a natural birth, but it's fine. I mean, I'm a mother now, it doesn't matter how. So thank God for medication, thank God for doctors and hospitals. And I almost put God in a box, saying this is what I want, this is how I expect it to be, because I heard so many supernatural childbirth stories. But you know what, God wants to write my own story unique, and He's not against epidural. Honestly, He is not against. He's a good God, so He's not going to hate you because you took an epidural, or you had the faith, you couldn't keep the faith. All that matters is you love Him and you trust Him, and I did that in the process with all my heart, because obviously I had no other choice but to trust Him. And yeah, and my labor and delivery day was absolutely beautiful. I have a beautiful baby girl who I'm mommy to. I just can't wait to raise her and live my entire life with her, and only hope for the best. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for all your support, and God bless you all. Bye.